My name is Altu Sadie. I'm 48 years old. I'm a small business owner of a coffee distributor in Kenmare in Krugersdorp called Cafe Minucci. I hold a BCom degree from Stellenbosch and a BCom honors degree from UNISA. The facts contained in my statement is to the best of my knowledge and belief both true and correct. I've been asked to give evidence on the PIC investment in Ecobank and the multiple governance failures, including my whistleblower dismissal due to raising an accounting irregularity. I was employed by Ecobank as the CFO for cards and electronic banking from October 2012 to January 2017. I was on assignment to Corporate and Investment Bank from March 2016, reporting to the CFO of CIB, when I was dismissed for raising an accounting irregularity through the whistleblower process. I was employed at Standard Bank from January 2002 to September 2012 in various roles, from financial manager for the car division, the head of finance for the Barclaycard joint venture. I was also the finance director for business operations, personal business banking, information technology. I also presented Standard Bank on the audit committee of BankServe. Before that, I also worked in various roles at Econ from 1994 to 2001, and I started my career at ABSA from 1992 to 94.
Can you just then tell us something about Ecobank?
Okay, Ecobank is, if you really, I can give you a little bit of background from their website. I don't know if you want me to read that into the record, or I can just, basically they started
we'd like to hear what you know personally about it.
Okay, can I talk about my personal view? They located in about 37 countries in Africa. They're the biggest single bank outside South Africa in Africa, or very close to, on assets and everything. So they've got a fantastic and amazing footprint. If you look at their, it's a very multicultural, it's really, I always tell people it was such an amazing experience because there was 37 different cultures. You never felt out of place because it's so multicultural. Very, very big bank. Was very, very aggressive and in growing. And then if you look at what they tried to do, they went through, so basically very, very strong in West Africa, Nigeria, Togo. Later on they started coming more into the SADC region. More in the north and west of Africa, some of the biggest and stronger banks, and that's where they started. But if you look at the more to SADC, EAC, those countries, they're struggling to build market share there, or they're quite smaller then. They're not at ideal size there, if you can say it like that.
Okay, you can then start at paragraph 8.
Okay, Ecobank Transnational, or ETI, is a transnational banking institution registered in Togo with headquarters in Lomé, Togo. Doing business and having offices in over 37 countries around the world, including Nigeria. It's listed on the Nigeria Stock Exchange and its shares traded in Nigeria. It's also listed in Abidjan and Ghana as well. Sorry, I didn't add it in.
You can just go a bit slower, please.
Okay. In Nigeria, ETI operates a banking business by license under Banks and Other Financial Institutions Act 1991. Cat B3, Laws on the Federation of Nigeria 2004, by its subsidiary Nigeria Limited, Ecobank Nigeria. All earnings dividends from Nigeria have to repatriate from Nigeria to Togo. Two South African entities, Nedbank with a 21% shareholding, plus 2 board members, and the PIC.
21.2.
21.2, yeah. And PIC, with a 13.5% shareholding and 1 board member, Mr. Daniel Machila, until recently, have significant shareholdings. Qatar National Bank, 20.1 shareholding and 2 board members, and IFC, with 14.1% shareholding and 1 board member, is the other two significant shareholders.
Just a question here. if you can remind us, I think Nedbank and the PIC invested in this business, and there was some issue somewhere where the shares went down. Can you just remind us what happened there? This is besides this statement. I know there was some event somewhere.
Mr. Commissioner, there is so many events that's affected Ecobank and governance failures and all those kind of things. If you look at what happened is, I mean, they got a new CEO at some stage, Mr. Thierry Tano. He found some wrongdoing. He had an Ernst & Young audit report. He took that to the chairman. The chairman then wanted to raise things. The chairman and the CEO was pushed out at some stage. The CFO was fired and reinstated. The SEC of Nigeria had, I think in 2012, they had a whole governance review and everything. So there's so many scandals. If you Google this organization is beset by governance scandals. So there's a lot of impact. So I can't really talk to anything specific around, but there's been huge issues around governance. And even if you look at their annual financial statements, the chairman and the CEO will talk to you about they're trying to improve governance. They know it's an issue for the market, and they're doing everything to improve governance.
Sorry, can you just deal then with the investment into Ecobank by PIC?
Okay, the total investments into Ecobank by the PIC. PIC invested $250 million, buying 3.125 billion ordinary shares at 8 US cents each in April 2012. That was from the Ecobank 2012 annual report. And this was increased to 3.3 billion shares due to a bonus share issue in 2015. The PIC also granted a $98 million annual revolving loan with a 3-year term on 29 December 2016. That's also from the 2018 annual results. And then it also arranged a...
Sorry, do we know whether that is being serviced?
My understanding is all of these have been serviced, and I know it gets a little bit technical, and they've done a Eurobond issue recently. Some of the covenants and things are not being, or they breached some of the covenants, but the PIC have given them leeway that they're okay with that. But my understanding is all these loans are being serviced. And then it also arranged a 250 million convertible bond and that's also in September 2017 and also from the 2018 results.
Before you proceed, Mr. Commissioner, can I just place on record that I have checked with the GEPF that there was in 2012 a mandate to invest 5% in Africa with a cap of 2 billion, and this investment of 250 million US at 3.125 at 8 US cents was just under the 2 billion cap. Is that also according to your calculations, Mr. Sadie?
If you look at the calculation that I did for April 2012 on point 11, you can see it came to about 1.935 billion. Using a 7.74 Rand exchange rate.
Thank you.
If you look at the market value of the PIC share investment, and I looked at this on the 22nd of May, when Advocate Libbe asked me to come this week, and you compare it to the actual value of the share as it was traded on that day, the market value in US dollars basically reduced by nearly 2/3. So it's less than half what it was worth before. And if you look at the Rand value, it reduced by 700 million. So I'm not sure, I'm sure the PIC would be tracking this investment.
Thank you. Can you proceed with paragraph 12?
If we look at the Fitch ratings of Ecobank of ETI, it's rated as B, and that's highly speculative fundamental credit quality. If you read, it says B ratings denote weak prospects for ongoing viability. Material failure risk is present, but a limited margin of safety remains. The bank's capacity for continued unsupported operation is vulnerable to deterioration in the business and economic environment. So the question then becomes, does the PIC mandate allow it to invest in highly speculative investments, or suitable alternatives, e.g. Stanbic IBTC with a AAA rating exists?
Thank you. We will ask them when they come here to talk about this investment.
If we then look at Stanbic IBTC, this is now Standard Bank's Africa banking venture. They rated at AAA, and that's the highest credit quality, and also listed in Nigeria. And that's the AAA ratings denote the lowest expectation of default risk. They are assigned only in cases of exceptionally strong capacity for payment of financial commitments. This capacity is highly unlikely to be adversely affected by foreseeable events. If you then also look at what the Financial Times website published the beta ratings for ETI, it's at 1.15, and Stanbic is 0.9385. And then it's quite interesting to read what does a beta actually mean. Beta is a measure of a stock's volatility in relation to the market. By definition, the market has a beta of 1, and individual stocks are ranked according to how much they deviate from the market. A stock that swings more than the market over time is a beta above 1. If a stock moves less than the market, the stock's beta is less than 1. High beta stocks are supposed to be riskier, but provide a potential for higher returns. Low beta stocks poses less risks, but also lower returns.
Thank you. You don't have to deal with the graphs. Okay. Can you proceed to paragraph 16 of your statement, please?
Daniel Machila acknowledged in a court case against the previous CEO that he should never invest in Ecobank, but then still invested 2 more times. It also seems that the CEO tried to improve the governance problems as evidenced by an Ernst & Young audit report. Ecobank has a history of dismissing staff for exposing wrongdoing.
Can you just stop there? What court case is this that you're referring to?
The previous CEO was dismissed, and there was, maybe that's what the commissioners refer to, where Mr. Machila made certain allegations. He wrote letters to the Financial Times. So what the previous CEO did is he took the PIC and Mr. Machila and Ecobank to court on two matters. The one was a libel case, and the other one was for unfair dismissal. So this case specifically...
Sorry, can we just identify, is that Mr. Thierry Tano?
Thierry Tano, the previous CEO, yeah.